that indicates to you right from the word go that there is a paradigm shift in the way and the manner we handle the Kenyan affairs. That we believe in ourselves, we believe in our strengths within and without. We also believe that as a nation, if we marshal and harmonize all our activities together, and then we have a nation to be proud of. Currently, there's no doubt that we're a regional player. Kenya counts as a major regional player within the setting of East and Central Africa setting. And therefore, in order to be able to match that position that we command, we must change the way we do things. Therefore, my ministry, without any apology to anybody, came in with this robust and aggressive policy on looking at the diaspora and seeing what the diaspora can be able to do for the nation of Kenya and for themselves as well. No doubt you are all conversant now with the new constitution, a very rich document which we promulgated, and in it there are all the legal frameworks. We're still in the process of grafting some of the bills into laws that will help us to function optimally. And one of the features that has come out quite clearly is the devolved nature of our government, that we've now devolved the system into 47 counties. This week, before we came here, the President signed into law the devolved system of government to the county level. And therefore, these are now functional units. These are no longer mirages. These are firmly entrenched in the legal framework, and therefore will be centers of development. I'm sure you are also aware that within our constitution, it is clearly stated that some of the resources, not less than 15% of the national resources, will be bequeathed the county levels to be able to run their county governments. Indeed, in the last budget, the Minister for Finance did allocate not 15%, but almost 20% of the budget to be able to, when they become operational at the first election next year in March, hopefully. I hope you don't listen to so much propaganda. I think we're clear when the date is. Let's not speculate. Let's just focus on March 4th, because that was the court ruling. So that, what am I saying then? That we now have, as a nation, got to think seriously in the midst of a meltdown in the United States or in the Americas, in the midst of a Euro crisis, in the midst of political turmoil in some of the other regions, in the midst of the Al-Shabaab. Kenya has got to emerge out of this situation fairly clearly and in a very clear, defined direction. And I want to report to you that in terms of our regional politics, in terms of our regional engagement within the East African community, we are fully, very much integrated within the community, and we are playing our rightful role in the East African community. We have been able to generate, we're the biggest trading partner within the community region, and we intend to capture most of the eastern region. There are many factors favoring us. The discovery of oil is such a factor, therefore requires a lot of infrastructure development and investment, which is a very critical area. We've got to create the safe highways. You'll be hearing from Dr. Mugo on the various infrastructural programs, which are the flagships of Vision 2030, that you can participate in the investment aspect of it. From our side, the way we look at it is that for Kenya to maintain an economic growth that we had set for ourselves, 7 moving on to 10, currently we are at 4%. For obvious reasons, we had problems. We had a very severe drought. We had hunger, and we had also floods. And all these put together did, in fact, affect our budgetary processes and the way we budget for these various activities in the country. But one foremost investment that we have put in place is the development of human capital. Human capital as a resource, as a major resource to be able to jumpstart the development of our country is a critical factor. And I'm glad that you yourself are one of such big human resource capital that you have invested yourself individually and collectively and through your families. And therefore, you are a ready market, ready for us to be able to enter into partnership with you as a diaspora in a much more defined manner. And I'm glad that I'm addressing you at such a time as now, because this is the time that you should come on board. That's one aspect of it. You have accumulated immense experience, immense levels of innovativeness. Things that you used to do 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you're doing them differently now because of the circumstances around you. And we want to tap into this rich experience. It's not for nothing. It's a partnership that you give this, and I think Dr. Martin Oduori has laid out how you can engage yourself through the financial instruments that are available in our country. We keep developing them every other day where we feel there's need to develop these instruments. Therefore, you have an opportunity to engage yourself in these issues. Now, I reckon you are about 160,000 members of the diaspora within the United Kingdom. And if you spread this out to Europe, and then you are speaking of a much bigger group than we had hitherto thought about. It's not my intention to try and say who is who where, but you know yourselves. Wherever you are part of the Kenyan diaspora. Wherever you are, you have your home connections. Either you can play at the county level, you have hitherto been playing at the local level, assisting your brothers and sisters to grow and to engage in various small businesses, in education, in health, and in other social activities. You've also helped in building some churches and schools, and therefore you have participated quietly in all these measures. We're now saying we want to harness this potential. And that's why we have a policy. And later on, you'll be hearing from my permanent secretary on the policy considerations of the diaspora and how we want you engaged in these diaspora events. Now, we know we have also similar diaspora in the United States. The other day, I met the diaspora in South Africa, 50,000 of them, quite a number. Again, immense skills. I was in Kuwait. I met another diaspora, basically a professional diaspora, who were going about their businesses, doing a lot of other things. I met also another diaspora in China and many other places. So Kenyans have registered their presence in the globe. And it's this presence that we want to announce to everybody, like indeed we're announcing in London Olympic Games that Kenya is here. And we're here to be noticed in the athletic arena. We also want to tell the rest of the world that we're here to be noticed in the economic arena, in the area of economy or trade and investments. We're here to be recognized. And I believe Kenyans are the people I've seen with so much enthusiasm, so much bubbling with knowledge, bubbling with the competencies and skills that you put them into any task, they're able to deliver. And this is the natural state in which you are. We want you to function. And I'm happy that I've had the earliest opportunity and moment to associate myself with you. You can't even believe I was in Morocco the other day, and the Kenyans diaspora is very active there. And so in Egypt, the same thing is happening. So wherever I go, wherever we go as a ministry, we're now saying that one of the biggest problems you had was the question of dual citizenship. It's no longer a story, it's a reality. It's there in black and white in our legal instruments. Therefore, you can exploit it in whichever way you want. The only thing that you will be deprived of, that should you one day venture to run for presidency, then I'm afraid you disqualify yourself. So you weigh the options, which way you are going. If you ever intend to be a president of Kenya, then I'm afraid you will have to forego your dual citizenship. But if you don't want, but you want to engage in all other spheres, you are free to do so without any encumbrances or any hindrance whatsoever. So I think that's an important innovation. And secondly, we've now come to a very inevitable conclusion that the political diplomacy was of the historical past, but now we're engaging and moving more clearly into economic diplomacy. That's where the rest of the world is, and that's where Kenya should be, and that's how we intend to engage. So I really think you couldn't have asked for anything better. So then let me just remind you that one of the things that you need to achieve is the excellence in social, cultural, academic, economic, and political lives of the people of Kenya. That's the objective, that's the direction in which we are going and we are moving. As a community, you have emerged as a critical factor, changing Kenya's image and steering a dynamic shift to Kenya's advantage in the international arena. In order to exert greater influence and power, what you need is greater unity amongst yourselves, which can be projected through cohesive social, cultural, and business networks. This conference is about institutionalizing a body to enhance trade and commerce between Europe and Kenya. It is about our strategic role in Europe. It is about raising the profile of the Kenyan community. It is about economics and politics. It's about learning and emulating the successful political and entrepreneurship skills of the Kenyans in Europe. It's about our hope and strength. It is about our role and responsibilities. It's about our rights and privileges. It's about our image. And it's also about establishing a Kenyan heritage in the European economic and political space. The over 3 million Kenyans in diaspora should serve as bridges of friendship between Kenya and the rest of the world. Your hard work is contributing to the mutual prosperity of both Kenya and the United Kingdom. Your annual remittances are an invaluable contribution not only to your loved ones at home, but also to the development of our economy as espoused in our economic blueprint, the Vision 2030. I wish to assure you that the government will take all the necessary measures to facilitate this process by putting in place mechanisms to ensure reduced costs of remittances, and you've heard it from one of our institutions, and the leveraging of your remittances by designing customized investment opportunities to the diaspora. The Kenyan economy rests on very strong fundamentals. Over the last 4 years, we have averaged 4% GDP growth per year. Our development efforts have been positively impacting largely on the tourism sector, which has registered remarkable growth. The present international economic and financial situation has clouded some of the prospects of growth in the near term. I am particularly confident that your contribution in terms of remittances, technological and skills transfer will continue to make strong and robust advancements. Our inherent strengths, the large size of our markets, they will be hearing more of this, the diversified industrial base we possess, and the strong and dynamic private sector will eventually allow us to remain the economic power of the region that I earlier on indicated to you. We're of course here to celebrate the 2012 London Olympic Games. And Kenya is here to create history and to set standards not only in sports, but also to tell the world that we remain one of the world's best tourist and investment destinations. And you are the only ambassadors who will be remaining behind when we are gone back home, who will be continuing with the same message. We hope that Kenya will reap the full benefits of all this. Let me, in conclusion, assure you of the government's deep commitment to your welfare and safety. Our decision to create a separate Director of Diaspora Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a reflection of this. The direction has taken several initiatives since its creation in 2008. I'm sure that these initiatives, including the establishment of a diaspora policy, organization of diaspora conferences like the one we are attending here today, the invitation of the Kenyan diaspora to participate in the ambassadors, high commissioners' biennial conferences, among others, will make an impact. We are currently engaging the various countries that play host to the Kenyan diaspora in signing bilateral agreements, which I saw my friend, is it Samuel Ching, raised about the bilateral relations. We will be engaging them to be able to sign those bilateral arrangements for cooperation in the field of human capital development. All these are geared towards our endeavors to realize the full potential of our diaspora diplomacy, which is a key pillar of our foreign policy. With these few remarks, I wish to declare the Kenya-London Diaspora Conference 2012 officially open. I thank you.